Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today also we are continuing our reading from the book Beyond Birth and Death, Srila Prabhupada's small book. And today we are continuing our reading from chapter 4. In Vedic literature, there is a good deal of information about the material and spiritual skies. In the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of the spiritual sky and of its inhabitants. There is even information given that there are spiritual airplanes in the spiritual sky and that the liberated entities there travel about on these planets in these planes like lightning. So now some descriptions about a spiritual world is described here. Everything that we find here can also be found there in reality. So whatever we are saying in material world, so just in reality it is found in spiritual world. Here in the material sky, everything is an imitation or shadow of that which exists in spiritual sky. So this material world is considered perverted form of spiritual world. As in a cinema, we see a show or facsimile of a real thing. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this material world is but a combination of matter modeled after the reality. Just as a mannequin of a girl in a store window is modeled after a girl. So this material world is just like a reflection, just a shadow of a spiritual world. And example is given here, like in cinema we see whatever we are saying is the just the what is recorded outside. Similarly, the model we see outside any shop, the girl model mannequin, that is just a copy of some real girl, like that. Every sane man knows that the mannequin is an imitation. Sridhar Swami says that because the spiritual world is real, this material world, which is an imitation, appears to be real. We must understand the meaning of reality. Reality means existence which cannot be vanquished. Reality means eternity. Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah. Ubhayorapi drishto antas na anayos tattvadarshibhi. Those who are those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existence there is no endurance, and of the existence there is no cessation. These seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text 16. So it is studied by the intelligent person that the material world is actually temporary and the spiritual world is reality. Real pleasure is Krishna, whereas the material pleasure, which is temporary, is not actual. Those who can see things as they are do not take part in a shadow pleasure. The real aim of life is to attain to the spiritual sky. But as Srimad Bhagavatam points out, most people do not know about it. So there are people, they don't know about the spiritual reality. Most of the people don't know about the spiritual world. Human life is meant to understand reality and to transfer into it. All Vedic literature instructs us not to remain in this darkness. The nature of this material world is darkness, but the spiritual world is full of light, and it is not illuminated by fire or electricity. Krishna hints of this in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 6th verse. Na tad bhasate suryo na sasanko na pavakah yad gattva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mamaha. Here Krishna says that abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. The spiritual world is called unmanifested because it cannot be perceived by material senses. So here the description of the spiritual world is given by Krishna, And he says that spiritual world is not illuminated by any kind of sun or electricity. That is self-illuminated. And next he says, Avyakto chara iti uktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Here Krishna is saying that supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 text 21. Here Krishna is saying, if someone comes to his abode, the supreme abode, he never returns to this material world. A great journey is indicated in this verse. We have to be able to penetrate other outer space, traverse the material universe, penetrate its covering, and enter the spiritual sky. The process of going to the spiritual sky is described here. Paramam Gatim, that journey is supreme. There is no question of going a few thousand miles away from this planet and then returning. This sort of journey is not very heroic. We have to penetrate the whole material universe. This we cannot do by spaceships but by Krishna consciousness. So now Prabhupada is saying the process of going back to Godhead, not by any kind of material instruments, spaceships, but by the process of Krishna consciousness, one can go back home. One can go to the spiritual sky. One who is absorbed in Krishna consciousness and who at the time of death things of Krishna is at once transferred there. If we at all want to go to that spiritual sky and cultivate eternal, blissful life and full of knowledge, we will have to begin now to cultivate a Satchidananda body. So if somebody wants to go back home, back to Godhead, then one has to cultivate eternal, blissful life and full of knowledge. By that process, one can go back home, back to Godhead. It is said that Krishna has a Satchidananda body. Iswara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. And we also have a similar body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The nature of soul is eternity, knowledge, and bliss. But it is very small and is covered by the dress of matter. If somehow or other we are able to give up this false dress, we can reach that spiritual freedom. So, if we can give up this false dress of material matter, then we can reach that spiritual kingdom. If once we can attain that spiritual world, return is not necessary. Yam prapyana nivartante. So, after achieving spiritual world, we will not come back to this material world. Everyone then should try to go to that Dham Paramam, Krishna supreme abode. Krishna himself comes to call us, and he gives us literature as guidebook and sends his bona fide representative. So Krishna personally comes to this material world so that we can get attracted to Krishna, and by that we will desire to go back to Godhead. We should take advantage of that facility given to human life. For one who reaches that supreme abode, penances, austerities, yogic meditation, and so on are no longer required. And for one who does not reach it, all penances and austerities are a useless waste of time. The human form of life is an opportunity to get this boon, and it is the duty of the state, parents, teachers, and guardians to elevate those who have acquired this human form of life to attain this perfection of life. So it is duty of state, parents, teachers, guardians to teach his subordinates about this spirituality, the process of Krishna consciousness. Simply eating, sleeping, mating, and quarreling like cats and dogs is not a civilization. We should properly utilize this human form of life and take advantage of this knowledge to prepare ourselves in Krishna consciousness so that 24 hours of the day we will be absorbed in Krishna and at death at once transfer to that spiritual sky. So while living, we should engage ourselves in the process of Krishna consciousness. And when the time will come to leave this body, then one will go back to Godhead, that is spiritual sky. Pursahasa parapartha bhakta labhyasto ananyaya asyantah sthani bhutani ena sarvam idam tadam. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 22 sloka, it is described that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. If we are at all interested in reaching that supreme abode, the process is indicated here is bhakti. So the by bhakti process we can go back to Godhead. Bhakta means devotional service, submission to the Supreme Lord. The root word for bhakta is bhaja. So this bhakta, bhakti comes from the word bhaja dhatu, which means service. The definition of bhakti given in the Narada Pancharatra is freedom from designation. If one is determined to get out of all the designations that are attached to the pure spirit soul and which arise due to the body and are always changed when the body is changed. So our designation is always changing. Whenever we change the body, our designation also changes. Just like now we are human from a body, so we say that I am man, I am human, like that. When we are in the form of dog, then we say I am dog, I am cat, like that. So one's designation is always changing. One can attain to bhakti. Bhakti is realizing that one is pure spirit and not matter at all. Our real identity is not this body, which is simply a covering of the spirit, but our real identity is Das, servant of Krishna. When one is situated in his real identity and is rendering service to Krishna, he is a bhakta. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. When our senses are free from material designation, we'll, we will utilize them in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesha or Krishna. So here described that Krishna is the master of all our senses. So if we will engage our senses in the service of Krishna, automatically these senses will get purified. And when our senses will get purified, we can engage ourselves nicely, completely 24 hours in the service of Krishna. And the result will be we will go back to Godhead, that is spiritual sky. As the Srila Rupa Goswami points out, we have to serve Krishna favorably, Anukula. Generally, we want to serve God for some material purpose or gain. So generally people come to Krishna or God for some material motive, material purpose. Of course, one who goes to God for material gain is better than one who never goes. But we should be free from desire for material benefit. Our aim should be to understand Krishna. Of course, Krishna is unlimited and it is not possible to understand him. But we have to accept that we can understand. The Bhagavad Gita is specifically presented for our understanding. So our purpose is to understand Krishna. We don't go to Krishna for any material purpose or material motive. Our only purpose is to attain Krishna. Through receiving knowledge in this way, we should know that Krishna is pleased and we should serve him favorably according to his pleasure. Krishna consciousness is a great science with immense literature and we should utilize them for the attainment of bhakti. So this Krishna consciousness process is giving us a chance, giving us opportunity so that we can attain Krishna. Purusaha sa para. In the spiritual sky, the Supreme Lord is present as the Supreme Person. So God, that Krishna is the person. There are innumerable self-luminous planets there, and in each one an expansion of Krishna resides. So now the description of Vaikuntha Loka is given here. There are four armed and have innumerable names. They are all person. They are not impersonal. These purusas or persons can be approached by bhakti not by challenge, philosophical speculation, or mental concoction, or by any physical exercise, but by the devotion without the devotions of without the deviation of routine activities. So here Prabhupada is pointing out that one can actually approach Krishna only by the process of bhakti, not by any other process like challenging him or speculation or mental concoction or any physical exercise. No, only by bhakti. Krishna says, Bhakta mam abhijanati. Only by the bhakti process one can understand Krishna. What is the Purusha, the Supreme Person? Like यस्यांतः स्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वम idam tadam. Every living entity and everything is within him, and yet he is without all pervading. How is that? He is just like the sun, which is situated in one place and yet is present all over by its rays. So, although Krishna is situated in his supreme abode, he is present everywhere also. Just like his sun is there in sun planet, but the sunshine we are seeing everywhere. Although God is situated in his Param Dham, Dham Paramam, his energies are distributed everywhere, nor is he different from his energies. Inasmuch in as much as the sunshine and the sun are non-different. Since Krishna and his energies are non-different, we can see Krishna everywhere if we are advanced in devotional service. So those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness can actually see Krishna everywhere, just like Prahlad Maharaj. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Shanta Sadeva Hidaye Suvilokayanti. I worship the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, whom the pure devotees, whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love of Godhead, always observe within their heart. Brahma Samhita, 5th 38, 5th chapter, 38 verse. Those who are filled with can love of God see God constantly before them. It is not that we see God last night and he is no longer present. Not like that. One can see God everywhere, every time. Not one who is Krishna conscious. No. For one who is Krishna conscious, Krishna is always present and can be pursued constantly. We simply have to develop the eyes to see him. So Prabhupada is here describing how one can actually see Krishna all the time. Due to our material bondage, the coverings of material senses, we cannot understand what is spiritual. But this ignorance can be removed by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. How is this? A sleeping man may be awakened by sound vibration. Although a man may be, for all intents and purpose, unconscious, he cannot see, feel, smell, etc. The sense of hearing is so prominent that a sleeping man may be awakened by sound vibration. So the sound vibration is very powerful. It can awaken our dormant Krishna consciousness. Just like if somebody is sleeping, we make some sound. By that, the person gets woke up. Similarly, the spirit soul, although now overpowered by the sleep of material contact, can be revived by this transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is Hare Krishna is simply an address to the Supreme Lord and his energies. Hare means energy and Krishna is the name of the Supreme Lord. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we are saying, O energy of the Lord, O Lord, please accept me. We have no other prayer for acceptance by the Lord. There is no question of praying for the daily bread, for the bread is always there. So we pray to Krishna so that he can accept us. We don't pray to Krishna for any material benefit, for the daily bread. Hare Krishna is but an address to the Supreme Lord, requesting him to accept us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prayed, Hey Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patita Mam विषमे भवाम भुदौ कृपया तव पाद पंकजाय सिता धूलि सदृशम विचिंतया. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other, I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Sikshastakam, verse 5. The only hope for a fallen man in the middle of the ocean is that someone will come and pick him up. So if someone is there in the middle of the ocean, there is very less opportunity to survive. Then somebody comes and he pick him up from that fallen condition. If someone just comes and hauls him but a few feet out of the water, he is immediately relieved. Just like some person is drowning in the water and somebody jumps from outside and he bring him out of the water. If we are somehow lifted from the ocean of birth and death by the process of Krishna consciousness, we are immediately relieved. Similarly, when we are coming out of this material world, it is just like kind of relief for us. Although we cannot perceive the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, His name, fame, and activities, if we establish ourselves in Krishna consciousness, gradually God will reveal Himself before us. So now we don't know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, but by practicing Krishna consciousness, gradually it will be relieved to ourselves. We cannot see God by our own endeavor, but if we qualify ourselves, God will relieve Himself. Then we will see. No one can order God to come before Him and dance, but we do have to work in such a way that Krishna will be pleased to reveal Himself to us. So here the process of Krishna consciousness is described how one can conquer Krishna, how one can conquer Krishna so that one can actually this is only by the process of Krishna consciousness. One more paragraph we'll read. Krishna gives us information about himself in Bhagavad Gita and there is no question of doubting it. We just have to feel it, understand it. There is no preliminary qualification necessary for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Because it is spoken from the absolute platform, the simple process of chanting the names of Krishna will reveal what one is, what God is, what the material and spiritual universes are, why we are conditioned, how we can get out of that conditioning. Everything is step by step. So, step by step, we'll understand everything when we will practice Krishna consciousness. All our doubts will be cleared just by practicing bhakti nicely. Actually, the process of belief and revelation is not foreign to us. Every day, we place our faith in something that we have confidence will be that will be something that we have confidence will be revealed later. We may purchase a ticket to go to India, and on the basis of the ticket, we have faith that we will be transported there. Why should we pay money for the ticket? We do not just give the money to anyone. The company is authorized and the airline is authorized. So faith is created. Without faith, we cannot take one step forward in the ordinary course of our life. Faith we must have, but it must be faith in that which is authorized. It is not that we have blind faith, but that we accept something that is recognized. The Bhagavad Gita is recognized and accepted as a scripture by all classes of man in India, and as far as outside India is concerned, many scholars, theologians, and philosophers accept the Bhagavad Gita as a great authoritative book. There is no question that Bhagavad Gita is authority. Even Professor Albert Einstein, such a scientist, read Bhagavad Gita regularly. So Prabhupada is now saying about the authority, accepting the authority, and how one has to put his faith in authority or the authorized process. So understanding Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavad Gita is authorized, Even Albert Einstein, the great scientist, used to read Bhagavad Gita regularly. So just by reading this Bhagavad Gita regularly, we will also understand who God is and the process of Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. We'll stop here for today and we'll continue reading from tomorrow onwards. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare